following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and you are watching Dante's Boxing Nation, baby.
Welcome to Dante's Boxing Nation show here at alltalkradio.net. Now here's your host, Dante.
All right. What's going on, y'all? BoxingTalk.com, alltalkradio.net, and welcome to the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante, and we have another great show for you guys. As always, in the building with me, let me introduce my co-host and my special guest as well. In the building with me is my man, Norrin Raddicall.
AKA No Holds Barred Norrin. Y'all decast can't handle the truth. Get it right.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And on the phone lines with me is they have two of the best YouTube channels out there. My man, AK Arabking. What's up, man?
What's up, everyone?
All right. And my man, Egosworld. Check him out. What's going on, man?
Testing.
There we go. For real. We're going to be doing some freestyling with the with the microphones over here, some remixes and all.
Don't sweat the technique.
Don't sweat the technique.
Know the ledge.
Man, we about to know the ledge in a minute and really sweat the technique, okay? So anyway, now also, guys, he's running late. Hopefully he makes it. He just texted me. He said he's close, but in the studio should be Jeff Mayweather. You know, he wanted to give his 2 cents and come to, enjoying the show. So hopefully he makes it. All right, so, man, let's get into it, man. We had a big weekend. A whole lot of, what you call it, the Great Falls, Norrin Raddicall? He wrote an article. My man Norrin wrote an article about it. What's the article?
The Great Falls of China.
There it goes.
6 times.
6 times. It was a whole lot of falls. It was an interesting fight, man. Very interesting fight. Now, we're going to get into that, of course, but first let's go ahead and get into the main event, or the undercard, I should say. Now, I want to start with Zhou Shiming, man. Zhou Shiming, he fought against, I don't remember his damn name, so I'm just going to call him Mini Pacquiao, So anyway, he fought against Mini Pacquiao, and what's so crazy is...
Disrespectful.
Hey, man, a lot of people would love to be called Mini Pacquiao for life, or some of these fans at least, but anyway, man, I thought Zhou, he looked very good in the first couple of rounds, but after that, he just became unraveled. And he was exposed, man. He was basically exposed. And, dude, if dude had a little bit more skill, he might have even knocked out Zoe. So what did you think, Norrin? You watched it?
A lot of the undercard fight, and I don't mean to jump ahead. Hey, you guys can hear me? Ego, AK?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no doubt. A lot of the, I don't want to jump ahead, get ahead, but it is what it is. Besides Jesse Vargas and Antonio DeMarco, Loma went out and did his thing, but I really wasn't a whole lot impressed with the undercard. So that being said, what I seen of Zhou Shiming and the other guy, he has a very hard name to pronounce, his opponent. Again, it just wasn't anything spectacular. Zhou, I mean, he has a great, amateur pedigree. He's how many? He won 2 gold medals, right? 2 Olympic gold medals, exactly. So he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. So obviously the kid has talent, but he just didn't impress me. And was he exposed? I can't even really say he was exposed. He was exposed because, again, I just didn't see anything spectacular. What I'm saying is, and I don't again, nothing. I always try to qualify my statements because I don't want to discredit none of these guys that are in the ring, that are putting their life on the line for the entertainment of the masses. I have the utmost respect for all these guys, but Zhou Shiming is just, as of now, he's not a guy that's on my radar. You know what I mean? So I just wasn't impressed by the performance. He came out with the victory, and hey, a win is a win. And, you know, I would love to, you know, give a little bit more analysis on the fight. But, you know, honestly, like I said, I really was watching Jesse Vargas and Antonio DeMarco and, of course, the main event. So that's what it is with Zhu Shming. And, you know, maybe he'll go out there and have a little bit more, you know, pronounced performance his next time out.
And just for the record, I like Zoe, man, so I'm calling his ass.
It's all good, son.
But anyway,
semantics.
Man. So, hey, Ego, man, what did you think, man? I mean, was he exposed, or am I just reading too much into it, man?
I agree with everything Norrin said. I told people a little while around on my channel, and I'm not hating. I have no reason to hate on the man. He has a good, healthy-sized fan base. More power to him if he can sell out venues and stuff. I just haven't been impressed. Amateurs, that's great. That gets you to this level. But I haven't really seen anything exceptional with him. And the funny thing is we got guys like Rigondeaux and Lomachenko, and Rigondeaux has a very similar Olympic pedigree and everything like that. And some people say, oh, he sucks and he runs and stuff like that. And they don't give him this praise and these big they say, oh, he's not sellable. He can't sell out a show. But Zhao Shiming has a market. You know what I'm saying? If you guys ever seen the new Transformers movie with Mark Wahlberg, Zhao Shiming, he has like a 5-second cameo. He's in the elevator, and that was his best performance that I've seen when he was in the movie Transformers. I ain't seen nothing in the ring.
Pardon me, Ego. It's on now.
Hey. Well,
it's on now.
But that's pretty much the same thing I'm saying. I agree with both of you guys, you know. So let me go ahead and introduce my man. You know, these celebrities, they show up when they want to show up, you know what I'm saying? So welcome, Jeff Mayweather. He's in the building with us. What's going on? Make sure his microphone probably ain't even on yet.
We need the studio applause.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But anyway, welcome to the show, man. Get a little microphone check real quick, Jeff. Okay. We'll get you on in a minute. His microphone, I think, is off right now. We'll get all this edited out later on. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and move on, man. We'll get to you in a minute, Jeff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this Jesse Vargas fight. Now, Jesse Vargas, this is the fight that my man Norrin over here said was the best fight on the card.
By far.
Why do you think it was the best fight on the card, man?
It was the only exciting fight. You know, it was the only fight that, you know, you had suspense. You know, you got former world champion in Antonio DeMarco. You got you know, a young up-and-coming guy with a history as well, a real backstory with Jesse Vargas. So even coming in, you know, there's something to it. You know what I mean? There's something extra. And then the guys delivered. You know, I mean, Jesse, he landed some bombs on Antonio DeMarco in somewhere in the mid rounds, about the 5th, 6th rounds. And you know, you was amazed that DeMarco was even still standing after he took a few of those flush right hands. And then, you know, going towards the championship rounds, DeMarco turned the tables and landed his own Hiroshima, you know what I mean, on Jesse. And Jesse withstood the storm, you know what I mean, and came out with the UD. Roy did a great job, a fantastic job in the corner. You know, it was a great fight, you know what I mean, and a great performance by Jesse Vargas. He showed plenty of heart. You know, endurance, you know, improved endurance, improved stamina and conditioning. It was almost a point where it was getting late and you saw him starting to get winded and it almost seemed like he was going to give out. But it's almost like Roy, and I'm not giving all the credit to Roy, and of course I'm talking about the great Roy Jones, who was in his corner, of course. But not to give all the credit to Roy, but it's almost like they shared the effort in willing Jesse to go on and go ahead and capture the victory. So it was a great fight on both fighters' part. And, you know, big up to Jesse Vargas. You know what I mean? A great win, great fight, best fighter on the card by far.
You agree with that, AK? What did you think about that fight?
Yeah, it was a good fight, good entertaining fight. You know, but at the same time, you know, Vargas is asking for Pacquiao after the win over DeMarco. And, you know, he didn't look that great against DeMarco because if you think what Broner did to DeMarco and what Vargas did to DeMarco, it's a whole, you know, different story. But,
true.
You know, hopefully Pacquiao don't fight Vargas because we want to see the fourth middle of the fight. What y'all say?
Which he probably will.
Hey, well, I heard that was Ego's favorite fight. I heard Ego. He said he don't want to see Mayweather versus Pacquiao. He want Pacquiao versus Jesse Vargas. Is that true, Ego?
The lie detectors determined that was a lie.
I couldn't help myself, man.
I mean, I agree with AK all the way. I don't want to see it. And I take boxing and I put it in perspective, or at least I try to. Roy Jones did some work with him. I actually like Roy Jones as a trainer a lot. He worked with, what's his name from Canada, John Pascal. I liked how Pascal looked against Butte in their fight. So I like Roy as a trainer. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. It was an entertaining fight, like Norrin said. It was the best fight because it was the most competitive. Lomachenko, I was really impressed with him, but it was pretty one-sided. I like how he was fighting with one hand and just showing you what he can do with his footwork and his mind and stuff like that. Good punch variation. So I agree with Norrin. It was the most entertaining fight. But that being said, I don't think it was it warrants a Pacquiao fight. Like, I don't think he looked so spectacular. And you have to take into consideration the opponent. DeMarco was only a few fights into his career at 140. And like AK said, Broner dominated him. Broner, actually, that's one of my favorite, if not my favorite Broner performance.
Oh, yeah.
Because he just looked really sharp. His inside fight game looked nasty. And you have to consider the timing. DeMarco had just come off. He's a champion in the division at lightweight or whatever, and he had just come off a one-round destruction of John Molina. So I thought that was, for Broner to do what he did, I thought he looked real sharp. Since then, DeMarco has had some okay performances. I think he disappeared for like a year after that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it warrants the Pacquiao fight, but it was entertaining, the fight that we've seen on the undercard.
And let me say this because I appreciate Ego making that clarification, because like I said, it was definitely the most entertaining fight, but no, he didn't have the same results against DeMarco that Broner did, because Jesse Vargas ain't Adrian Broner. So like I said, it was the best fight of the card. But like you said, if you want to put it like you said in the context, then absolutely he didn't do to DeMarco what Broner did. But then you got Floyd, TBE Mayweather, who fought Diego Corrales, and then Diego Corrales goes and have an all-time classic fight against Jose Luis Castillo. And again, because in the first fight, Castillo didn't do to Corrales what Floyd did. You know what I mean? But it was still a great fight. So again, everything in context.
Everything in context. So Jeff, we hold on for just a second. We got Jeff, like I said, in the building. Now, Jeff, you're here. We're talking about Jesse Vargas versus DeMarco. What did you think about that fight? Was it a dominant performance by Jesse? What did you think?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Okay. Well, me and you in the same boat, because I didn't see that fight either. I ended up getting to the Venetian late, so I didn't see that. Yeah. But
and one thing too, the Vargas fight will always there be for Pacquiao, but the Floyd Mayweather fight won't always be there for Pacquiao if he get knocked out. The Vargas, if Pacquiao get knocked out, he still could fight Vargas. Okay. But let Pacquiao fight Floyd, and then Floyd Mayweather beat him, then he could go fight Vargas, because Vargas won't last 3 rounds. I'm telling you now. He's talking all that talk, but once he get in the ring with Pacquiao, it's a whole different story, and he's not on that level. He's not deserving of a shot, and he don't even have the talent to mess with a guy like Pacquiao.
Okay, so let me ask Jeff this. Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather's so-called #1 nemesis for so many years now. He just fought Chris Algieri, junior welterweight, guy with 8 knockouts, guy who's still pretty green in his career as far as professional boxing. Now we're talking about we're speculating on the possibility of Pacquiao fighting Jesse Vargas, somebody else who you are familiar with, Jeff.
Yeah.
What would be the public sentiment had Floyd just fought Chris Algieri and then was talking about fighting Jesse Vargas? What would the public be saying?
Well, of course, they would ridicule Floyd to death. Like I said, even fighting, if Floyd was fighting Algieri, they would have ridiculed him. So, at the end of the day,
crucified.
Yeah. And you can't even famine Floyd fighting Chris Algieri. The only name that on that whole card that would mean something would be Pacquiao. You know, I mean, I trained Jesse when he was a kid. I trained Jesse when he was like 13 years old, and you know, basically he's a good prospect. He's coming up, you know, and I don't know. He may be he might not be ready for Pacquiao at this moment, but I mean, he's growing and he's getting better and better. So hopefully one day, you know, he'll have a legitimate world championship.
And I like Jesse a whole lot. He's a great kid, and he's like you said, he's a good fighter. He's coming along. But I mean, realistically, could you mention him seriously in the same breath as a fight with Floyd?
Of course not.
Okay.
There it is.
All right. You know what I'm saying? See.
There it is.
See how logic goes?
Man. But you know, a lot of these fans, they don't like logic. They don't believe in logic.
Yeah, that's
they believe in emotions, you know, and who they love and who they hate. That's pretty much what a lot of it is based on, right, Jeff? When you listen to the fans talk about boxing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's that way.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the main event, man. So of course, Manny Pacquiao, he gets credit for 6 knockdowns, wins a unanimous decision, pretty much a landslide. And, you know, I got to go ahead and put a little egg on my face right now because I'm probably one of the only people on the planet that gave Pacquiao or gave Algieri a chance to win this fight. But listen, man, I'm going to just go ahead and say this right now, man. We all know it's very difficult to pick a heavy underdog and win. You know what I'm saying? So it's high risk, high reward. And that's what it is. And I'm going to tell you right now, anytime Manny Pacquiao fights a guy who has foot movement and has a jab and they have a little bit of rhythm, I'm probably going to say that guy has a very good chance of beating Manny Pacquiao because of his flaws. Okay, so, I mean, did the fight play out the way you thought it would play, Jeff Mayweather?
Well, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I said it from day one. First of all, I didn't think that he won the fight with, however you say the guy's name,
Provodnikov, yeah.
Yeah, him. I didn't think he won that fight. And I thought that, you know, he's a guy who, you know, just basically came into a situation in which he wasn't ready for. I mean, you know, basically it's one of those things that, you know, when you get to the highest level, you think that you're ready until you step inside that ring. And then especially now you're in China and you don't have one fan there. You know, even your corner is not your fan when they're lying to you every time you come back to the corner. Oh, you're doing great. You're doing good. How the hell you doing good? You've been knocked down 5 times.
You got him in the cage.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's when he got. That's to me that was like the only legitimate real knockdown because it seemed like to me he was in such a. I mean, Algieri was like he didn't want to be there. It seemed like he didn't want to be there, and he realized that. Wait a second, I don't belong here. And that's how he fought. I mean, the guy did not take a chance at all. All he did was run, and half the time, the knockdowns weren't even real knockdowns. It was like him tripping over his own feet.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, the one time he got knocked down for real was when they let him out the cage.
No. Let him out the cage, Tim.
Woo. Why the hell you do that? Why the hell you do that? Now what I noticed. Now, Eagle, what I noticed, at least this is, you know, my opinion, but in the first round, Algieri, he came out with the jab, and we all knew the jab was supposed to be the main plan. But I noticed Pacquiao, he came out with a quick-ass counter left. He didn't land the left, though, but it was quick, and it looked impressive. And it looked like from that point on, he just took a lot of Algieri's confidence. I mean, do you just feel he lost a lot of confidence and got discouraged in there, Ego?
I just think the whole fight was a tall order for him. He was never really expected to win. I think personally that Top Rank and Bob Arum, they were more or less trying to give Pacquiao more confidence because he hasn't had a knockout in 5 years. Now, people bring up Floyd all the time. They're like, oh, Floyd doesn't have a knockout too. But Pacquiao was running through bigger dudes and busting Margarito's eye out of his socket. So we tend to think of it more. Floyd has always been a bit more, like, cautious. And, you know what I'm saying, he picks his shots and he doesn't necessarily go for the kill to the point where he'll get knocked out like Pacquiao did in the fourth Marquez fight. So I think they thought this is a good, wholesome American champion who's undefeated, and we can make this event big in China. But to me, I told people on the channel, he was never really expected to win. And one of the biggest reasons I felt that is he doesn't have the firepower to ward off Pacquiao for 12 rounds. In addition, You're in a pro-Asian environment, and it's like, what can you do if you're drastically behind? You can't do like Lucas Matisse or even a Ruslan Provodnikov, who's pretty one-dimensional. You can't do a home run knockout. It just wasn't going to happen. I think Pacquiao's tough. He has a solid chin, even being knocked out recently. It wasn't going to happen. I didn't see Algieri hurting Pacquiao or getting his respect. And you can't just jab all night. You know the Pacquiao hits hard, so the telling blows and impactful blows, the judges see that and like, oh, okay, so what was he going to do? It reminds me of the Austin Trout fight versus Canelo, where they had the open scoring in Texas, and they had Trout down by so many points that Trout didn't have the style or the power to really hurt Canelo and dig himself out of the open scoring hole. They had him down by like 4 fights. He needed a knockout to win. He wasn't going to knock out Canelo. So same thing with Chris Algieri with scoring in Macau, China. If you're down on the scorecards, you can't knock this dude out. So it's just overall a tall order. Plus, he fought his whole career. I'm not even trying to bash Chris Algieri. He fought every single one of his fights at home in New York. So he didn't have the experience of traveling. All the great fighters, the Pacquiaos, the Mayweathers, they've all traveled at some point. Chris Algieri fought all of his fights at home in New York. So I just felt going overseas, it was just way too much for him.
Yeah, it was.
And big up to New York, by the way.
Yeah. But
oh, yeah.
I mean, AK, were you surprised that even though Manny Pacquiao, he pretty much dominated the fight, but he had such a hard time landing anything significant like in the first half? He couldn't really land the left hand. He was throwing combinations, and a lot of it was, was air balls, basically. I mean, were you surprised that he was missing so many shots in the first half, AK?
Well, at the beginning of the fight, Pacquiao wasn't cutting off the ring. He was chasing Algieri, which caused him to miss a lot of punches. He was getting frustrated, Pacquiao, because he was missing a lot of punches. And Algieri was moving so much that he wasn't countering no more because Pacquiao would leave himself so open. He will throw his legs. At one point, I saw them like in the air, and he throwing punches and stuff. And if he got caught like that, he will have been hurt. But of course, Algieri was, I think he was too cautious, and where he was very worried about the power and speed of Pacquiao. But at the same time, Pacquiao, he made an adjustment during the fight. I like the adjustment that he made, where I think it was the 5th round where he got caught with a right hand, similar to what Marquez caught Pacquiao with. After Pacquiao threw 2 jabs, and he got caught with the right hand.
The same right hand.
It's just that Pacquiao, yeah, exactly. But Pacquiao wasn't, going. He was, I think, on balance, and he wasn't heading to the punch like he did with Marquez. And at the same time, after that, he didn't get caught with that punch anymore because he will feint twice and pretend that he's coming in, and when Algieri try to counter, he will make a quick step back, use his footwork to get out of range, and then once Algieri misses the right hand, he will jump on him. So that was a good adjustment, but at the same time, he was struggling a lot with the movement, and he was missing a lot of punches. If you take the knockdowns away, I mean, it's just the fact that Algieri wasn't doing nothing because Pacquiao was missing a whole lot. And like Jeff said, what did Algieri do to get a Pacquiao fight? Provodnikov, that was a very close fight. Is that enough to give you a Pacquiao fight? But we're not going to get to the cherry-picking subject. But, at the end of the day, Pacquiao, he did what he had to do. I'm glad he won the fight, so we could get the Floyd Mayweather fight now.
So we could get the Floyd Mayweather fight. And, AK, just want to correct something. It's not what did he do, it's what he didn't do. That's how he got the fight. So because that's what Manny Pacquiao was looking for. I mean,
and you know what frustrated me?
Huh?
Algieri, he's a nutritionist, and he got a master in that, and he couldn't make the weight.
Yeah.
And he moving 4 pounds. He moving up 4 pounds. And another thing, he claims he's undefeated as a kickboxer, and I could have sworn that I saw him get knocked out on YouTube on against a kickboxer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you undefeated? He really got knocked out.
Out cold. I was tripping off of that as well. Yeah, he was. It was reported that he was undefeated. I guess they meant in some kickboxing organization. They, of course, they wasn't including the organization he got knocked out in. I guess.
Yeah, he got knocked out in a Chuck Norris. Like it's like a team competition thing.
Oh,
but him as an individual kickboxer in that league. I guess didn't get knocked out, but the American Gladiator kickboxer, whatever thing he was
So
doing,
it's not in
the
his
Van,
record.
the Van Dam tournament, he got slept.
I guess it's like
Yeah,
saying I'm an
okay.
undefeated WBC fighter, huh? You know, every time when I fought under the WBC belt, I won, right? You know? I guess so. So Jeff, let me ask you, man. So now he got past Chris Algieri, Manny Pacquiao did. I mean, after watching how he performed, do you think the blueprint is even longer now for for Floyd Mayweather to beat Manny Pacquiao?
I thought Floyd was gonna be Manny Pacquiao. He didn't need no blueprint.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, nothing's changed. And I think that, if anything, I mean, Pacquiao exposed himself even more. Because, I mean, he showed that he can't deal with a guy that has movement. And, well, I mean, he could deal with a guy that has movement that's scared to death. Because that's all he did was run. I mean, he went, and every once in a while he'll fire a punch. And once he did fire a punch, he would land. But, I mean, he didn't follow up. He didn't even try to follow up. And like I said, I mean, and it's ridiculous to me when you go back to your corner and your corner tells you, oh, you're doing good, you're doing great.
Beautiful work.
How can you be doing great? You already down. You gotta have a knockout. I mean, you've been knocked down 5 times. How can you come back to the corner and your corner realistically and be honest and tell you, I mean, like legitimately, like saying, oh, you're looking good, man. You're looking good. So, I mean, I think that his corner was also, caught up in the fact of being, caught up in the moment, because they really wasn't watching anything.
Here's the thing. It's a fine line between positive reinforcement and denial. You know what I mean? And you don't want to end up on the side of denial, when your guy's in there getting, knocked down 5 times. You know what I mean? So that's basically what it was. But it was a glorified sparring session, you know what I mean, for Pacquiao.
Exactly.
And, I want to, hey, listen, moving on. Because, again, that now everybody is, okay, Pacquiao has the 6 knockdowns. And by the way, like you said, like Ego said also, it's supposed to be a confidence booster for Pacquiao. You know what I mean? When was the last time Floyd had a knockout? Pacquiao hasn't had a knockout in 5 years now,
5,
whatever.
6 years,
exactly. And everybody said, Aram said, when was the last time Floyd knocked somebody down 6 times, right?
Yeah, he said he knocked.
Floyd ain't knocked nobody down 6 times in 12 years.
In 12 years.
You know what I mean? But also Floyd ain't lost in 12 years.
Yeah.
And Floyd ain't been knocked out in 12 years either.
Knocked down, he
He ain't
ain't.
fought nobody like Algieri in 12 years either.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, that's a new one. A new one right there. He ain't fought no Algieris in 12 years. Wow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, what is Bob Arum's incentive to even say stuff like this? Is he just...
I mean, it's basically it's begging.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that's what it is. I mean, no matter how you try to, disguise it or but it is what it is. I mean, basically, you're begging for your guy to actually get a fight with Floyd. And I mean, I think that the fight, when it happens, it has to happen on their turn, not on Bob's turn. Nobody cares about what Bob is saying.
Yeah.
I mean, of course. I mean, like I said, I mean, Bob is upset with Floyd because of the fact that realistically Bob never made no money off of Floyd.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And he let the golden goose get away.
Yeah.
Because at the time he was too busy. He's too busy catering to Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
And not realizing that, the person that you got is better than De La Hoya. And I mean, he never looked at it that way.
He probably also never thought he could really be a star like you said, like De La Hoya, right?
Yeah, and I mean, basically, and so, and of course, I mean, he has animosity. I mean, because anytime you look up, all these years later, this same guy that you had in your hands, doing these crazy numbers, and you ain't getting none of it.
Hey,
I mean, that's got to be irritating.
I gotta slightly disagree with Jeff. I think Bob knew how good Floyd was. He didn't know how smart Floyd was.
No, what I think it is though is that not so much that, but I think the fact that De La Hoya, it was De La Hoya's time. Floyd, you sit back and wait your turn. But he allowed the contract to run out while Floyd was waiting. So that's when Floyd jetted. As soon as the opportunity was, the contract was over with, he left.
Yeah, he let Oscar get away too.
Yeah,
he let Oscar get away too. Bob does not think highly of the intelligence of fighters.
No,
let's put it like that.
But he gets his.
You agree with that, Jeff?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in all honesty, I really don't have nothing bad to say about Bob because, I mean, when I was involved, with them, and I'm the one who brought Floyd to top rank, and I mean, they always treated me. They treated me well, no matter what,
I can believe it.
Even after, I wasn't really even dealing with Floyd. They still took care of me. But like I said, I mean, so I don't have no personal vendettas with them or anything like that. I mean, I think they're good people, and I think I'm just speaking the truth in regards to, him losing Floyd, and that's where his animosity is.
Speaking of Bob Arum, now the WBC, they just tweeted, I don't know how official this is, but the WBC, they tweeted out that Mayweather is being offered $100 million, Manny Pacquiao $80 million, and then they want to offer Bob Arum $10 million to step aside. Now, with you knowing Bob Arum, Jeff, do you think he would accept something like this? Would you think he'll accept step aside money, or would he be greedy and say, no, I want half of all of it?
No, I mean, I think that, I don't really 100% know. I mean, $10 million is a lot of money to just sit on your ass. Yeah, to sit on your ass.
Do nothing.
I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I think that, at some point in time, he has to realize that this fight has to happen, and if it ain't going to happen, it would be on it'll be on his hands, the reason why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I think he probably will take the $10 million and say, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and let it be.
All right, you guys win.
Let's hope.
Go ahead and take all my money.
Because, listen, not to come off as the Bob basher, but, Bob does carry a vendetta. You know what I mean? And this has been on his hands since 2009. He's the reason. He's the sole impediment why this fight has not occurred.
That's very true.
That's very, very true. Now, AK, go ahead, Ego.
I wasn't saying that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
okay. Well, I was about to say, AK. Well, you go ahead and start it off. I was going to ask you something, but you go ahead and start it off.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the, Bob Arum comment, first of all, Pacquiao is a knockout artist, and Floyd is a boxer. And Pacquiao haven't had a knockout in 5 years, and Floyd Mayweather has. That's the difference. Pacquiao should be knocking guys out because he's a knockout artist.
Yeah, he's
Floyd
expected
Mayweather
to.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's as far as the knockout thing. And when it comes to the money, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Bob Arum will accept this $10 million because if he makes 25% of Manny Pacquiao purse and Pacquiao is making $80 million, I mean, 25% of that $80 million is $20 million. So he's not going to let just $10 million fly away. So I doubt he would just step aside like that, but it is my opinion as far as that.
Yeah, and just to add on what you just said, talking about Manny Pacquiao, like you said, he's expected to get knockouts. He has power, just like George Foreman was expected to, knock people out. When I go to KFC, I'm expecting them to serve me chicken. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is what they specialize in. So it should be there when I get there, right? When it comes to Manny Pacquiao, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, he's not known for just his power. He's known for intelligence. So I don't expect someone to go in the ring and outbox Floyd Mayweather for 6-8 rounds, and he looks frustrated almost every single fight. I expect Mayweather to outthink and outbox all of the guys that he fights. Okay, so I mean that's what's expected out of fighters. But what's so funny about the last time either of these fighters got a knockout, not including the Victor Ortiz fight, is the last knockout they both got was against the same fighter, and that was Ricky Hatton. Right? I mean, because I know Manny got a technical knockout over Cotto, but that was, all late and it could have went on. But when it was a straight knockout, they both knocked out Ricky Hatton. So, the comparisons are ridiculous. I mean, that's how I see it. Are people just fascinated with power, or is it just an excuse to discredit Floyd Mayweather, Jeff?
Well, I think it's
It's
more.
like,
I think
like
it's
you
more
said,
that.
it's like comparing George Foreman to Muhammad Ali. Like, oh, Muhammad Ali ain't knocking out nobody. Look at George Foreman. He's knocking out everybody.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
that's
Exactly.
supposed.
George Foreman
You know what
knocked
I'm
out
saying?
everybody and still lost to Ali. Yeah. Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
Hold on, AK. Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I mean, well, one thing is this: is that okay? Manny Pacquiao was, doing all these phenomenal knockouts, and all of a sudden, it just stopped.
Inquiring minds.
Why would it stop?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really were truly a knockout artist, you still be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like George Foreman. George Foreman at 50 years old knocked out, or 45 years old knocked out Michael Moore.
Yeah.
So that
Excellent
shows
point.
you. That shows you that you keep your power.
The power doesn't go
The
anywhere.
power don't go nowhere.
That's an excellent point. A lot of people never looked at it that way. But speaking of the power, Jeff, why is he moving down to 140 when he's supposed to be known as a stronger fighter, more tougher, apparent to the, according to the fans, than Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather keeps fighting fighters that are 20 pounds bigger than him, but Manny Pacquiao, meanwhile, is moving down in weight. And people don't normally do that. You've been a professional boxer. People don't usually do that at the end of their career, right? Move down in weight. Why would Manny do that?
Well, I mean, basically, I don't know if it's just a smoke screen or anything, but I think that at some point in time, I mean, Manny, is gonna have to say to Bob or whoever, if he wants to get himself out of debt, financial debt, he's gonna sign a contract to fight Floyd. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's gonna really be about Floyd and Manny. It's not gonna be about Bob. It's not gonna be about nobody else. And the fight will happen, and it'll be on their terms.
Yeah.
Anything that Manny does, that'll be done with him and Bob, but it's not gonna have nothing to do with Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. I truly believe it's gonna happen, man.
Jeff, let me throw this in too. Back in when they originally the first round of negotiations, people don't know this because people are always saying, like I always say, they got the question that they're asking is totally backwards. They're always saying, when's Floyd gonna fight Manny? It's really when's Manny gonna fight Floyd? Because Floyd's been trying to make the fight, and what I'm getting at is, in the original negotiations, Floyd actually signed that contract. Like you said, this guy started.
A lot of people don't know that.
Manny started knocking people out, and then all of a sudden he stopped. Well, the speculation, the same reason he stopped knocking people out is the same reason the fight didn't happen that first round.
Yeah.
We already know, because of the blood testing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, will Floyd ever disclose that signed contract? Because he rarely talks about it, but people don't know. But he actually signed the contract to fight Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao never signed the contract to fight Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Will
question.
that ever be disclosed?
No, I don't think it'll ever be disclosed. I think that it's one of those things. There's a lot of things that that
Floyd
that
just
happen
says, as
with
long
Floyd,
as he knows the truth, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he just
For
leaves
sure.
it alone.
For
I
sure.
mean,
For
and that's
sure.
not one of those things where, Floyd's just that way.
I relate.
He keeps things
Trust
to
me, I
himself.
relate.
A lot of stuff.
It was
Other things as well.
It would shut a lot of people like Stephen A. Smith up.
Oh man.
Not that Floyd really cares,
Oh,
but I'm just saying.
They'll find another excuse anyway.
I
though.
know.
They'll find another excuse.
Somebody
anyway.
forged his signature.
Always something.
Always something. But real quick, speaking of disclosing a lot of stuff, there's also a lot of fighters that avoided Floyd Mayweather when he wasn't the $1 million ticket. A lot of people don't know about that either. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that. Casamayor, Ocelino Freitas, Nassim Hamed. I mean, this is other stuff that Floyd don't really like to disclose, right?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, even Shane Mosley when he was at the peak of his. That's what the thing is. This Floyd asked these guys to fight him when they was at the peak of their career.
Yeah.
Not when they was older or anything else with no wear and tear on them. When he asked to fight him,
Yeah,
I mean,
Costa,
just like
Zoo,
like
all
I
these
said,
guys avoided
Manny
Floyd.
Pacquiao, when the second Floyd asked to fight Manny Pacquiao, and Pacquiao said, "I ain't taking no blood test." That right there, I mean, that basically tells a story.
Yeah.
And then later, Freddie Roach would say, "Oh well, Aretha would just give him this stuff, and Manny Pacquiao would just take it and drink it or whatever. Yeah, really. I mean, you're a damn fool. Somebody gonna just come give you something, you gonna drink it, and you don't know have no idea what it is. But that was his way of throwing Ariza under the bus, but not realizing he was throwing Pacquiao under the bus, the same bus.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So before we run out of time, though, let's jump into some other topics or some other fights coming up. Now we have Devin Alexander going against Amir Khan. What you think about that fight, Jeff?
That's an interesting fight. I mean, that fight can go either way. I mean, I think that Khan has better skills, but his chin is so suspect that anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 fight. Khan has great foot movement. Devin knows how to box. You know, I mean,
that's just a great fight. I'm just really looking forward to it. They said you got Khan with the suspect chin. Devin has a tendency to fold when the pressure gets on. Yeah, I mean, both guys are pretty, sound tacticians, technical fighters. It's really a good fight for those, between them as far as, even competition, competitive level between the two fighters. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and hey, Ego, I'm gonna go back to Pacquiao real quick and ask you this question. I'm getting a lot of Manny Pacquiao fans sending me messages, and they're actually giving Manny Pacquiao credit for being knocked out so many times, being knocked down so many times. They send me messages, and they say stuff like, well, that's the mark of a true champion. Ali lost, and this and that. I mean, Ego, what you think about this, man? Are we supposed to just get in the ring and get knocked out and be the next Muhammad Ali now, or what?
No, you already know the answer to that.
And when did Ali get knocked out?
Anyway, having these channels, I really feel like having channels, you open the floodgates to all kinds of people, and then there's a vast majority of, I'm not gonna say majority, but there's a lot of people who really don't know about the sport. They don't know the forefathers of boxing, the pioneers. They don't even know current events. They only know what they hear from Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and things like that. Pacquiao, as far as him being, like, you can look at it two different ways. You got knocked out because you got overzealous, and Marquez, you underestimated opponent's ability to respond with something in the fourth fight, and you paid dearly for it. So, I mean, that was a gross mistake. I remember seeing it was on, like, All Access or 24/7. Pacquiao said that in the third fight with Marquez, he didn't train hard enough. Like, he underestimated Marquez. How do you underestimate a guy you fought 3 times that gave you tough fights? And some people think Marquez won all of those fights. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense. Getting knocked out is not a trophy. It's not something you should, I got knocked out. At least I got knocked out. That doesn't mean you're a warrior. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing I will say about that is, like, Floyd took a Maidana shot, who is a certified power puncher. He has an 80% or better knockout ratio. He took a flush shot, ate it, and it was very similar. Marquez is a career lightweight. He's a great fighter, one of my favorites, and Pacquiao got knocked out from it. Maidana hit him flush, feet planted, everything into it. That was his best chance of winning. Floyd took it and stumbled back, and Floyd haters are just like, oh, he almost went down. In boxing, almost don't cut it. It don't matter what you almost did.
And how do you give someone more credit for getting knocked down as opposed to the guy who took the same shot and didn't get knocked down? I mean, Jeff, how does that work, man? You know, Maidana, Floyd Mayweather took the same right hand that Pacquiao got knocked out against a smaller fighter. Maidana was 16, 17 pounds bigger and heavier than Floyd. He took the shot, and he took a good shot against Mosley, and he didn't fall.
Well, it's one of those things that people just try to find any way to poke at Floyd because of the fact that, I mean, he's undefeated, and it's unfortunate that people also are too concerned about what he does with his money. The money that he actually goes in the ring and risks his life for.
Yes, sir.
He should be able to do whatever he want to do with it. But you have so many people that they're so they're so grossed out by the fact that he uses his money, he fronts, he goes, he'll talk about he bet this and he did this and he did that. Who cares? He earned it.
Yeah.
He earned it. He ain't out selling drugs. He ain't out poisoning nobody.
Let me say this. First of all, Ali never got knocked out. He got stopped at the very end of his career, when Parkinson's was already setting in and he had already proven himself as the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
First of all. you know I correct anything that's, you know what I mean?
Please do.
Yeah, no
Please
derogatories
do.
about
Well, that's what we do. We educate.
You,
we educate
you
people.
already know. And second of all, again, another thing, and I totally relate to Floyd and that that ideology of, you know, let it speak for itself. He ain't got to broadcast it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But, you know, he also, you know, paid for a portion of the, you know, the last ceremonies of Joe Frazier. You know what I mean? That's another thing he does with his money. He also, you know, feeds people, you know, on a yearly basis. You know, he does a lot of charitable work.
He
you know
paid
what I mean?
for Diego Corrales' funeral.
Diego Corrales,
Yeah,
Gennaro
Corrales,
Hernandez.
Gennaro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, man.
Omar Henry too.
It's-
So
come
I
on.
mean, the list goes
Come on.
on.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
brother.
Yeah.
with, you know, with that situation, but you know, and the thing is that so many people are they just hate on him, you know. And I mean, because the man enjoy his money that he made. How the hell can you be hating on somebody about that?
Yeah. But like I always say, man.
Other factors too.
Yeah, other factors. A lot of factors. A lot of factors. We know what time it is.
True indeed.
But like I always say, man, you know, if I went to go get surgery done and the surgery came out and the results were perfect, you know, I feel good. My life is saved, whatever the case may be. I don't care if that doctor done cheated on his wife. I don't care, if, you know, if he ain't paid his bills on time. That ain't got nothing to do with what he was supposed to do for me. You know,
Absolutely.
we watch boxing. We don't watch boxing because we care if you if you're the husband of the year or whatever the case is, right? It's all about what you do in that ring. People do not care what you do outside of the ring. I remember, what's his name, man? I'm forgetting the name. The one who passed away, the first guy who beat DeMarco Antonio. What's his name?
Antonio DeMarco.
Edwin
Valerio. Edwin Valerio.
Yeah.
This dude has some serious demons. And you know, just like I know, people did not care about the demons that this man was dealing with, because the stuff that was going on in his personal life, that was going on way before he committed suicide. So they didn't care when it came to him. All they cared about is what he was doing in that ring. And Roberto Duran, calling Sugar Ray Leonard's wife a whore, flipping her off. But they still love Duran, though.
Didn't Mother Teresa? I'm sorry. I mean Manny Pacquiao. Didn't he have a autobiographical film where he admitted to using drugs?
And everything. Yeah. He was doing a couple things. Yeah.
People don't know this shit.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Or people do
thing-
something.
Yeah,
go
exactly.
ahead. Go ahead, Ego.
Another thing I got to add real quick is we talked about this earlier, Dante. Floyd has a lot more dog in him than people give him credit for. Every time Floyd, I've seen him hurt Shane Mosley, he rocked him twice. Didn't go down, buckled. He was clearly hurt, clinched. What did he do? He went on to shut out Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley had no answers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So people get hung up. Oh, Maidana landed his shot in the third round. He did. Floyd ate that. What did he do? He got better. Floyd is the king and the master of adjustment, and people don't give him credit. Manny Pacquiao gets hurt, bangs his gloves, might do something, and then in the Marquez fight, he got knocked out.
True,
So it's like,
true.
what are we talking about?
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's what you do. The sign and the mark of a true champion
Exactly.
is making those adjustments. You're hurt, and what do you do after? But people don't give him credit for that because they rather, like Jeff said, they rather just hate and say, oh, he's gay runner, he's ducking, and all this like weird
Buffoons. Buffoonery. Hey, and a true hallmark of greatness is that these great champions, you don't even know how great their chin is. You know what I mean? Mayweather, Ali. You don't even know these guys have great chins until somewhere down the line when it gets tested and be like, wow, he really knows how to take a shot. But they're so, you know what I mean? They're so technically gifted, you know what I mean, that their chin is, you know what I mean? They're not defending themselves with their chin. So again, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And just
All
like
day.
and just like Eagle said, you know, Floyd Mayweather, he has a lot more heart than he gets credit for. Matter of fact, he has more heart than the average fighter who's supposed to have the biggest heart. I mean, if you look at a lot of fighters who got knocked down and hurt, look at how they responded when they first got knocked down. They moved away, they held, they tied up, you know, but they looked like, you know, they didn't have the same confidence that they had before. Margarito against Shane Mosley, you know, he was backing up. Julio Cesar Chavez against Frankie Randall. When he got knocked down, he was moving away. When Floyd Mayweather was staggering around against Shane Mosley, Floyd came right back and backed him up in the later half of the round.
Right back to the center
You
of
know,
the ring.
so
You already know.
we got like 20 seconds left. You want to take us out? You got anything else to say, Jeff Mayweather?
Bye.
The celebrities, they always do it the special way. They always got that special, way to close out, like
Studio
cool
applause,
stuff like
studio
bye. You know what I'm
applause.
saying?
Cool stuff like bye.
Yeah, anyway, man. Well, we out of time, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to say thanks to my special guests online, Eagles World, a.k.a. Rap King, in the building. My co-host, Norrin Raddicall.
Norrin, Boombaye.
There you go. And my man's special guest, Jeff Mayweather's in the building. Thanks for joining the show, and we will see you guys next week. alltalkradio.net, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Y'all D-cats can't handle the truth.
All day.